Welcome to today's eESI podcast. Our subject today is IT security, and our special guest is Ke Shen, a member of the eESI IT team and a recent graduate of the University of Texas at San Antonio with a degree in cybersecurity. E has been working for eESI in the past year and has some previous experience in IT and tech support, but he's also very current on the issues that are confronting small business owners. Ke, welcome to our podcast today.
Thank you very much.
Ke, what do you think are the three most important issues or trends about IT security for employers?
Well, I think right now we really need to focus in cybersecurity. A lot of small companies, especially, do not take cybersecurity very seriously, or they don't think that they have the budget to do it, or they do think it's important, but they don't know what to do about it or how to go about protecting their data. Another big thing is data breaches. We've had so many data breaches in this year, last year. You've been hearing a lot of it in the news. And also a big topic is employee education, because with educating your employees, you're able to create a line of defense against a lot of malicious attacks.
Let's go through those three. Let's go back to focusing on cybersecurity. Why do you think small business owners are not focusing on it, and why is it really important that they do so?
Well, I recently read a statistic that said 43% of cyber attacks are actually geared towards small businesses. And it seems like an easy target for a lot of hackers because small businesses usually have not focused a lot in cybersecurity, whether it's a lack in manpower or a lack in budget, and that's creating kind of a hole for hackers to sweep through.
What are a few things that small business owners can do that would help them strengthen the cybersecurity at their company?
Right. So like I said before, employee education, that's a huge one. Because, let's talk about phishing, right? Phishing emails. A huge way to combat that is to just educate your employees on what a suspicious email looks like. And then you have less people clicking on suspicious link. You have less malware being downloaded onto your computers and infecting your servers.
We have seen a growth in the number of data breaches that are being reported each year, and it seems almost monthly now. Equifax seems to continually get hacked.
Yeah.
What are things that small business owners can do to protect their companies from data breaches and from ransomware as well?
Well, ransomware and data breaches, these are two different things. For ransomware, again, employee education, right? A lot of ransomware comes in through email. It comes in through downloaded malware because you clicked on a bad link, or it looks like you're about to open up a Word document, but attached to that Word document is a malicious script that starts downloading malware, that starts running all sorts of these programs. And a lot of organizations don't have backups, like good backups. If you have good backups, ransomware is not that big of a deal, right? Even if you get all your data wiped, you can still come back. You might lose a day in productivity, but you're not having to start from ground zero. Now, on the other hand, data breaches, that's something a little more complex. You're going to have to really look at your cybersecurity framework and set up a defense. Now you have to defend your network, you have to defend your hardware, your software, and then, again, employee education. You got to look at your people. Because in cybersecurity, if you have one weak link, that's what the hackers go after.
What are some simple things that a small business can do to protect itself from a data breach?
I would say top 4 things you could do, basic things. Number 1, train your employees to look out for these phishing emails, to look out for suspicious activity. Two, update computers, update software, keep up to date because these malware is being created by hackers, and Microsoft and software vendors are looking out for that, and they're updating their products to protect against these attacks. And if you update, you're good. But if you never update, then you're leaving a lot of security holes to be attacked. And three, create backups. Like I said before, you need backups so that way, if something disastrous does happen, you don't have to start all the way from the beginning. You can start, hopefully, from yesterday or earlier in the day. And lastly, you want to limit access to your files internally. So, for example, if an employee does not need to be able to see everything to do his job, uh, if you limit the access, if a hacker takes over that account, there's only so much he or she could do with that account.
So the backups will help a company recover their data, but
Yes,
of course it won't protect them from having the data exposed to other people and the issues that may arise from that, which could be serious. So
right.
protecting your company from data breaches is very important. You talked about employee education. How can an employee recognize that something may be a phishing event?
It's all in the details. A lot of phishing emails will look kind of like an official email, but there will be important details missing. First thing to look for is in the actual email address that's being sent to you. You want to see where it's coming from. 9 times out of 10, it's not actually from Google or from Microsoft. It's going to be from some weird email you've never heard of. And then you want to look at the body of the email. What's the message saying? Is it saying download this document or download this thing? That's something to be aware of, right? Because you never want to download something you don't know about. And also, you want to make sure that this is, I mean, if you can, you want to make sure that this is something you're expecting. If this is coming from a trusted organization, you want to see if this is like a usual email.
Okay, and if it's not a usual email, then being suspect is probably the right thing to do in these
Right.
cases. Being overly cautious is probably the right thing to do. Am I accurate?
Absolutely, yeah. You want to be precautious, and a healthy dose of paranoia never hurt anybody, especially in cybersecurity. Oh, and also you want to look for links, right? If this email contains links, don't just go and click it. Hover your mouse over it and see what the actual URL leads to, right? If this is an email from Microsoft, if they send you a link, it should direct back to the Microsoft site. So if you hold your mouse over it and it goes to, blogspot.com, that's probably not Microsoft sending you that email.
Okay. Kay, what do you think are the three most important points you want to make, you want to leave our listeners with?
Well, I want to say that cybersecurity must be in the forefront. You can't just leave it in the back burner, right? You got to focus in it, spend money in it, spend time on it. Two, technology is ever evolving. Every day there are new attacks, new technologies, leaving new holes for hackers to come in through. Uh, in fact, this year alone, or rather, excuse me, last year in 2017, we've seen less cases of ransomware, but we have seen more unique cases of ransomware.
Hmm.
And third, proactive security is the best way to go. A lot of security these days is reactive. We're waiting for an attack to happen and then we react to it, right? But what we want to do is anticipate threats before they happen and prepare for them rather than just waiting for an attack.
And the best way to do that, as you mentioned earlier, is employee education, which you covered. Is there anything else that you think, any other simple steps that a small business owner could take today that would help protect their company from the significant risks involved with cyber attacks?
Update your computers. Definitely update your computers. That's something that a lot of people don't think about because updating can be a bit of a pain sometimes. It slows down productivity a little bit. You have to wait for the computers to do their thing, but it's critical for security.
Now, you had mentioned prior to our going on air something about the Internet of Things. Tell me about that. I'd like to know more about that.
Yeah, so the Internet of Things is a phrase for uh, just how connected we are these days. Everything is on the web now, right? You can have a fridge that has Wi-Fi that'll order your groceries for you. You can have a Bluetooth speaker like Alexa that you can speak to and actually buy things off of Amazon from. All of these things are connected and they make our lives way more convenient, but they also open up new avenues of attack for hackers. For example, if you have a Bluetooth speaker that is connected to the internet, if a hacker gains access to that speaker itself, he could potentially gain access to the rest of your network. And a lot of Internet of Things companies aren't really focusing on updating these products like fridges, toasters, that kind of thing.
So, if I was a small business owner and I did have I had a speaker that I was using and that someone could hack, what would I do to protect our company from that kind of an Internet of Things attack?
One of the best things you could do is to put that speaker on a different network outside of your internal business network, so that if a hacker does gain access to it, you can't really go anywhere from there because there's no internal access.
Appreciate the insights, Ke. I know that cybersecurity is one of the major issues and should be a major concern for all small business owners this year, as it was last year, and is growing in importance every year. So I appreciate your time, appreciate your insights, and keep up the good work with eESI. Thank you for giving us your time.
Thank you very much.